Hey, Dean Yeager.
Welcome to Huddle Up and Talk. We are going to kind of dip our toes into the Cowboys. We're both Cowboy fans.
Yes.
So we're going to kind of dip it in, dip our toes into this offseason. Are they close? Are they a little ways off? And, I guess I'm going to just point blank ask you, are they ready to compete next year? Are they going to be back to where they were 2 years ago, where they were 4 years ago?
No, I don't think so, honestly. If they keep Dak, coming back from an injury it's hard,
This is not some simple injury.
Yeah, and it's not some simple injury. It kept him out.
Fracture.
It kept him out the whole year. He's never dealt with this, I don't think, in his career, even in college. So it's hard to come back from an injury. So I don't think they'll be back.
Are you saying like it all depends on Dak?
Not necessarily on Dak.
Some players?
We have a lot of key players out, and we're gonna, it has to do with if we lose people in trades, if we re-sign people. There's a lot to get to it, and we're needing a lot of pieces on both sides of the ball. So it's if we draft well, there's a lot of pieces in there. You know that.
Well, they got the 10th overall pick,
which is great.
I think, from what I understand, at least 5 of those teams need a quarterback.
Yeah.
So we should get a dominant player. The thing I have a problem with, and I do agree with you on a lot of points, I think we're several players away, key players away from trying to, get this thing back on course. And I would like to see some consistency,
Right.
We grew up in a great time.
Unfortunately, we grew up in a very
unique
Super Bowl winning time.
It was a unique time. But I mean, you look at it. I didn't really start watching until the '92 season. But I mean, there was 4 years of consistency.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was the decline.
Yes.
Bill Parcells, to me, got him back into consistency.
Yep.
But then you look after that with Wade Phillips. I mean, they go 13-3. And I don't remember what they went that next year. I think they went like 9-7, and they missed the playoffs.
8-8 or something like that. Yeah.
Then they go 11-5. They're back in the playoffs,
Yep.
and they win the wild card. But then they go to Minnesota and they get beat.
Oh God, yeah.
And then this Wade Phillips' last year, they start out 1-7, I think.
Yeah.
And then Jason Garrett comes in. Then we have this mediocrity years of 8-8. Then I write this team off, and they go 12-4, and it should have been our year.
Yep.
It was a catch.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just been ever since, and it's really obvious since 2016. Romo gets hurt, Dak goes in. We go 13-3.
Yeah,
we're rolling.
That's our year.
And Green Bay beats us again.
Green Bay beats us.
Then the next year we miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then 2 years ago we start out slow. The Amari Cooper trade re-energized the team. We go back to the playoffs. But again, we haven't made a conference championship since '95.
Yeah.
And it's like 1 year we do good, and 1 year it's like we take 2 steps forward and we take 3 steps back.
Yeah, at this point it's like predictable. It's like, well, obviously we did bad last year, so this year is going to be a good year. And
But see, to me, a good year, a successful year, they need to get to the conference championship, whether they win it or not. It's very frustrating, and the thing that frustrates me the most here, especially these last 4 or 5 years, we don't seem to value the defensive side of the ball.
That's true. I agree with that.
When's the last time we had a quality safety?
Oh, God.
Darren Woodson?
Probably, yeah.
Roy Williams was great, but it was a small sample.
It was Darren Woodson.
Once Darren Woodson left, Roy Williams started to get exposed, especially in the coverage.
Right.
He was dominant on the line of scrimmage, but he just couldn't cover anybody, and he got pushed out of the league for that. But look at that since then. Who have we had? Jeff Heath? He was not a great safety.
No,
he was okay.
He was okay.
If you had somebody strong next to him, he would have looked a lot better. But you want him to be the guy, he's not the guy. Like, look at him in Oakland. He does a pretty decent job because I forget the other safety.
Because he has help. I agree with that. Yeah, and it has to do with the coaching too. Now we had last year we had, what was his name? I forgot the coach, but now that he's out, we had the worst year of all time, and it showed too. It was awful. It's hard to watch.
I don't understand why we can't put some money. Defensive line help. We paid DeMarcus Lawrence all this money to rush the quarterback. But he has to focus on stopping the run, which he does good at.
Which he does, yeah, he does.
But everybody's pissed off because we're paying him $21 million versus quarterback.
And he's not getting 5 sacks
But
a
he's
game.
got,
It's not how it works.
You got Aldon Smith, which actually was a surprise. He did pretty well until his legs left him because he hadn't played in for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be back.
Probably
Who
not.
plays on the defensive line? Tyrone Crawford? What did he do this year?
He's very mediocre.
And I think this year his cap hit's like $9 million. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, you have to cut weight, and
Really, we need a lot of help on this defensive side.
We do.
Defensive line help, linebackers. Jalen Smith, he needs to turn it around, or we need to seriously look at cutting him next year.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Van Der Esch needs to be healthy, and we need to see him back in his rookie form.
Yep.
We need cornerbacks. Now, Diggs is great.
Diggs
gonna be
is
good.
great. If he didn't have that injury, he would have had a breakout.
Let
rookie season.
Awuzie go because I think he's a free agent.
Yeah.
If Jordan Lewis is going to sign a reasonable contract, I say bring him back. I'm going to be first to say it. I wouldn't mind seeing Richard Sherman here. I know he's older, but he has experience and he can help Diggs evolve.
Richard Sherman or Earl Thomas?
They could have got Earl Thomas.
They
when
could have, but they still
Baltimore cut
can.
him.
They still can.
I mean, why did they didn't trade for him 2 years ago?
I think I would rather see Richard Sherman. Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
He can
Earl
produce.
Thomas has shown that he's a cancer. That's why Baltimore
Yeah,
cut him.
and I agree. And
They
that's why.
ate all
That's
that
why I would rather
money.
see Richard Sherman here because he can produce, and
We need a lot of secondary help.
We do.
I did, I was kind of both ways with Byron Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I don't see paying him $20 million what Miami paid him.
No,
And he didn't have the stats, but he didn't give up the big play.
Right.
But was he worth $20 million? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
But we need secondary help is huge.
It is.
So this is not some easy fix. Like we get a nice draft pick, and then we add these like tier 2 or tier 3 free agents. We don't go after the big money guys.
No.
When's the last time we signed a big money guy on defense? Brandon Carr.
Yeah. Then you're right. And how did that work out for us? I mean, he was good, but he wasn't great. He wasn't spectacular.
I thought he did good.
He
had good years. Now, was he worth that? No. That's the chance you take, and it's like we don't take those chances anymore.
No, we really don't.
We signed Amari Cooper,
Which was great.
yeah. And the other thing that I bring up too is that what happened when in the '80s. There was a decline. They get rid of Tom Landry. They bring in Jimmy Johnson.
Right.
He looks at this team and knows that they're in trouble. What does he do? He trades his best player.
Mm-hmm.
And gets all these draft picks and puts them over the hump. Have we done that since?
No.
We've always made the dumb trades.
Yep.
Give like 3 first-rounders for Joey Galloway. Give 3 first-rounders for Roy Williams, the receiver, not the safety. Why don't we trade somebody away? Like we've got 3 good receivers. You can't trade away Cooper because the cap hit would be just atrocious. You don't want to trade CeeDee Lamb because he's the future.
Yeah. Of course not.
Nothing against Gallup, but Gallup is a very good thing to trade because his cap hit is low.
Right.
And somebody will give you, and maybe you don't even want draft players. Like give me that defensive tackle or give me the cornerback, something.
Yeah,
But
he would be a good trade for something like that. I agree.
Jerry Jones doesn't trade anybody away.
No, he's not. Jerry Jones doesn't want to win. All right, he's a businessman.
I mean, he's been very successful at it.
Sure, but
he needs
that
to
doesn't
go
mean
back
success
to
on the
running
field.
the business, not evaluating players, which
I
he's
agree.
not that good at.
I agree. It's frustrating, man. I'm so frustrated.
It is
I'm
so
over it.
hard to get excited every year.
It is, but I come back, I watch the games, I get disappointed again.
I used to get excited. I got excited every year they went 5-11. Those 3 years, I got excited every year they went 8-8. I can't get that invested in anymore. I mean, I watch it and I root for them, but unless they show me some consistency, and there's hope here. I think Dan Quinn's going to do some great things on the defense.
I agree.
Give Mike McCarthy a full offseason.
Give him a full chance. Yeah, full offseason to evaluate players. We didn't get that this year. Obviously, everybody's already fired McCarthy. Come on, 1 year. Give him a shot.
1 year. And
give him a chance.
You lose your quarterback, you lose 90% of your offensive line.
Yeah. Come on.
I mean, what do you expect?
What do you expect? He worked with what he had.
And they could have tanked it.
Yeah, they could have.
But no, they showed some fire there at the end. You could see that the philosophy was starting to work.
Yeah, it was. A little too late, but it was there. And they were starting to fire. But
there is hope, but I don't know. First of all, I think you should sign Dak. If you put Dak under the franchise tag, it just really limits you because we all know that the salary cap is going to go down because of COVID.
Right.
they have cap room, but you lock up 40, 45 million from the franchise tag. I mean, that doesn't leave you with much of anything to get anybody.
That's true.
You sign him to a deal.
Yep.
You know, the only thing that I think Dak should do, Dallas wants him to do 5 instead of 4. If they're going to give you $40 million a year, what's one more year?
Right.
That way they can structure the contract, they can backload it. His hit will only be like 25 to 30 million, and that gives you some flexibility. And go out and get some good players. Let's have another good draft, because this last draft was pretty good.
It was good.
Let's have another one. Got the 10th overall pick. We have a chance to get somebody really good. And maybe we can start. Maybe they could be more than a contender, and they have a chance. And we'll dive in more of this later. But you look at the teams that were in the playoffs this year.
Right.
You know, Washington, they only got in because the NFC just was horrible.
Yeah.
New Orleans is losing their quarterback. Drew Brees is retired.
He's done.
They're $100 million over the cap. So you know they're going to be getting rid of people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's prime for us.
And that is prime, because I think who was in the talks for us from New Orleans? One of their defensive players.
Yeah, I think it was a linebacker.
Yeah, I can forget the name because I just saw it, but yeah,
which we could use.
We could really use.
Jalen and Van Der Esch flip what they've been doing lately.
Right, which they could. They're capable, but it's
I have more hope in Van Der Esch than I do Jalen. I think Jalen is too focused on his sunglasses.
Yeah.
But New Orleans is hurt.
Yep.
Does the GOAT come back? Does he come back?
That's up in the air.
So is Tampa Bay the same team without Tom Brady? Because they weren't that good last year.
They're not the same team.
Jameis Winston couldn't do it. Tom Brady. This is basically the same team.
They're not the same.
The only thing they have differently is they got Gronk and Antonio Brown, but
because they always had Mike Evans.
Yes.
So that Tom Brady made him shine. So,
yes.
Yeah.
But Green Bay, there's a lot of questions about Aaron Rodgers. Is he coming back? Are they going to go to the guy that they drafted? So there's an opportunity here, and the NFC East is sort of weak. The Giants will be a little better because they'll have Saquon Barkley back.
Right.
Washington will be Washington. They'll be hovering around somewhere in there.
They'll always be mediocre.
But the Eagles, don't worry about the Eagles because they don't even know who their quarterback is.
Yeah.
So you have a chance here.
Yep.
So hopefully, Jerry Jones and Steven will, make some good decisions here and someone can get behind.
Yeah.
But we just kind of want to dip our toes into it. Obviously, it's going to be the first of many about the Cowboys. Like I said, we're going to dive into other teams and we'll have their cap and their cap hits and we'll discuss if these teams are going to do well or not. Like I said, we should do the Saints next, and they're in so much trouble.
They are.
But that'll be for another video. But that's Huddle Up and Talk, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you.